Hi, everyone. Happy Friday. Thank you for tuning in this morning, this afternoon, wherever you are joining us from. I am joining you live from a picture perfect spring morning here in beautiful British Columbia, which is fitting because today we're going to be talking all about spring essentials. I'm going to share with you today a handful of brand new products we've just launched. We're also going to visit some of our community's favorite products from our core collection, and we'll get to all of that in just a moment. My name is Kristin. I am the National Educator here at Saje, and I love having the opportunity to share with you products that I use every day, things that are my favorite, the way that I use them, and I also love the opportunity to introduce you to brand new products that can become favorites for you as well. So without further ado, let's jump right into our products today, and I'm going to start with all of the brand new items. So first up, I'm going to introduce you to two brand new diffusers just launched within the last week, and these are joining our Aroma Rise collection. So some of you may remember all the way back at holiday, which feels like a lifetime ago, we had introduced three different diffusers as part of the Aroma Rise collection. And what we love about this shape and this design is it's given us a lot of leeway to really explore different colors, different textures, different patterns and materials, which is why I'm very, very excited to show you the two new diffusers today. So I'm going to start with the box, just the box I always love to share. I love this here at the top. You see this gold foil. That always lets you know that this is limited edition. And I like to share that the box contains all of your need to know. So just about your run times, your light features and whatnot. So it's a quick reference guide. And I want to start today with the Aroma Rise Desert Rose. So I'm going to show it to you from all sides there. I'm actually just going to take the lid off so we can have a look at it up close. So this is a beautiful textured cement. So I think this is actually the first time we've used the textured cement. Again, nice and up close. You can see it almost has like a little bit of pocking to it and that beautiful dusty desert rose color. I'm going to show you the inside of the unit next, and we'll talk about how to use it. So you see here, this is your secondary cap. What I love about the Aroma Rise is it's so simple and just really easy to use in terms of instructions. So you see here, it says water level. So you're going to fill your water and add your essential oil just to that level. You're then going to replace this secondary cap, and this is very important. This piece you see creates almost like a funnel or a vacuum in which the mist that's created in your tank is going to push upwards. So at this point, you would then replace your lid here, this beautiful, beautiful desert rose. I love this diffuser. And then we're going to talk about how to use it. So you see two buttons on the front. One's a little bit smaller, and then this one on the right is a bit larger. The left is your light. So this is an optional LED light feature. I wouldn't say it's as strong as a reading light, but it's a really great night light or just for creating ambiance in a space. And then on the right, this is the button to actually use your diffuser. So this unit and both Aroma Rises, they have two different settings. So it's going to be continuous or intermittent. That means if you press the button once, your unit will run for about 3 hours. And if you press the button when it's in use a second time, you're going to move into the intermittent setting. So that's 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off. I'm a big fan of that setting with my diffusers. I love the way it just sort of extends the lifespan of your just unit of water, or your tank of water. And I love the way it also gives just a little bit of a break for your nose, and then it comes back a little fresher every 30 seconds. So this, again, made from that beautiful textured cement, is called the Desert Rose. And then the second diffuser we've launched as part of this collection is a gorgeous pastel green called Pistachio. So again, I'm going to take the lid off here so I can get it nice and up and close for you. So the Pistachio is inspired by the springtime, just by new growth, by green, by everything just sort of feeling fresh in our environment. And this lid is actually made from polyresin. So polyresin is very durable. You can hear how sturdy it is. It's almost an indestructible material, and it again allows for those sort of textures and those patterns. So this one is called Pistachio. This diffuser has all of the same functionalities as the Desert Rose. So it also has the optional LED light, and then it has the same continuous and intermittent run times. So these diffusers are really fantastic for people who love to add a pop of color to the home. If you're a person who likes to sort of mix up your decor throughout the year and seasonally, these are some really fresh and sort of warm and inviting colors to bring into your home. And of course, if we are going to introduce new diffusers, we're going to introduce new diffuser blends. So I'm really excited to talk about the 3 blends I have with me today, again, launched just within the last week and inspired by the sense of spring. So when I think about spring, I think about a fresh start. I think about sort of sweeping away the winter, the cobwebs, the coziness about staying inside. I've transformed. I feel like I'm a caterpillar turning into a butterfly and just really wanting to spend my time outdoors with the windows open and really taking in the light. So the first blend I'm going to talk about today is called Spring Morning. And so let me tell you a little bit of a story about Spring Morning. Some of you may be familiar, as part of our home cleaning line, we have a room and air spray called Safe Air. For our friends in the United States, you'd know this product as Fresh Air. And this product was formulated specifically to cleanse, to deodorize, and to just freshen the air in your space with a key ingredient called white thyme. And so Spring Morning has actually been inspired by that blend. So again, when you think about opening your windows, you think about a cool, crisp breeze coming in for the first time, you're removing anything that feels stagnant or sort of musty in your space. When I think about neutralizing odor in the air, I think about the efficacy of white thyme and how it does exactly what I mentioned. It cleanses and it refreshes. When I think about airborne odor, that's a little bit of a tongue twister, airborne odor, I think about things like food, cooking, children, pets, anything again that's just sort of creating stagnancy in the space. So it's also blended with really fresh and floral lavender. You have lemon, which is fantastic again for bringing that bright and clean feeling to a space. There's patchouli in the blend. Patchouli is earthy and it's grounding, but it's a fantastic neutralizer of odor. So this is the blend that I'm reaching for on weekends. I think about last Saturday, I knew I was going to get down to business doing some cleaning around the home. So I put this on in my diffusers, cracked my windows open, and just felt that freshness and that sort of fresh start of the spring. So that, my friends, is Spring Morning. And have a quick sniff before we move on. Now, the next 2 blends that I'm going to talk about, I'm going to sort of talk about them as an umbrella to start with, and then we'll break them down individually. You may recall that within the last month, we launched an incredible new product called Pocket Pharmacy Mindful Edition. And this was a product that specifically was formulated to support your emotional, mental, and spiritual health and well-being. And I like to think about these diffuser blends as being complementary to that line. So I think about the freshness of the florals, which again is just sort of inspiring and again evokes spring. But when we really get into the nitty-gritty of the ingredients, you're going to hear more about how these oils are used to support sort of internally and externally in relieving everything from stress to heavy feelings to tensions and encouraging us to come into ourselves. So the first blend we're going to talk about is called Flower Bed. I never know how to turn it, so you see it there, so it's right. So number 1, you had me at the name, flower bed, anything that makes me think about a garden or just freshness in the spring. And then when I had a look and a smell at the ingredients, I knew this was going to be a blend that was going to be a favorite. So you have geranium, you have ylang ylang, and you have howood. But the star of the show, the key ingredient I want to talk about today, is a beautiful, rare, and precious essential oil called magnolia. So magnolia is well known in traditional Chinese medicine, in the fragrance industry. It's a beautiful flower that really helps people connect to themselves. It has a sweetness to it. It is quite rich in scent. What makes it really rare and really special is that its distillation process is difficult. Let me share a little story with you. When I first moved to Vancouver a few years ago, on my very first spring, I discovered this tree in my neighborhood. And I was able to determine, just based on its light and the sun position, it's almost in a bit of a block from the wind. I was able to determine that this would be the tree that was going to flower the quickest in the neighborhood, just based on its conditions. And true to form, the first time I saw that gorgeous and beautiful magnolia tree in full blossom, I couldn't even contain myself. Just the starkness of the trees around it and the juxtaposition against the blue sky. This is a very bright and vibrant pink magnolia tree. And so this essential oil blend, I think about the way that made me feel. It gave me hope and it just made me feel encouraged. And I really believed that, winter was going to whisk itself away and the freshness of spring was going to come. So magnolia is really well studied for its ability to affect stress in the body and actually the way our stress hormones produce stress in the body. So it's deeply grounding, deeply centering, deeply balancing. I think about using this blend when you're looking for connection. So whether to your yourself or to others, and you want to really create a space. So like a peacefulness and an area in which you unwind. I'm reaching for something like this blend. So like I said, I just want you to consider, there it is. I want you to consider flower bed if you're looking for some connection to yourself, to nature, and just to spring. And also, if you just want to experience such a rare and precious essential oil. The last of the diffuser blends, not to be outdone, is a blend called Fresh Bouquet. And this actually includes my very favorite flower of all time. Again, a rare and precious essential oil called rhododendron. So in this formula, you also have geranium, you have palmarosa. Palmarosa is a little bit rosy. It's sort of like a lighter, more subtle rose. And then, like I said, I want to just talk right about the rhododendron. So something I know about the rhododendron is that this is a very, very versatile plant. So in its species, within its genus, you have close to 1,000 different varieties, which really creates all sorts of different shapes and colors and just breadth within the line. I'm so used to talking about the product lines, but it's not the same when it comes to plants. Something else that's really fun about rhododendron is it can bloom anywhere from mid-January to mid-June. So that's going to depend, of course, on the light, on the sun it's receiving, on the weather conditions, but you have a really long growing season, so a lot of time to enjoy this blend. Rhododendron, despite being a flower, is not actually that floral. So it smells fresh and it actually smells very green. That sort of clean, almost herbal note that you get from nature, in which you just know there's nothing artificial and nothing's been added as fragrance. And again, just that sort of greener note. And that's why I really love it in this blend, because it brings an unexpected freshness to those florals. We know geranium has like almost a musky, pungent scent as a flower. I talked about the palmarosa, so you blend these together. What I'm loving about this blend is rhododendron's use for meditation. This is again an oil that is to encourage us to move sort of inward, to find stillness, to help encourage us to move outward. So whether it's developing self-compassion, self-kindness, compassion or kindness for others, it's an oil that's very well studied for its impact, again, on heavy feelings, anything that we hold almost as like emotional burdens. So when we're looking to release, again, that sort of idea about spring and freshness and a fresh start, a clean slate, this is a great place to start. So if you love florals, if you love freshness, if you're really inspired and encouraged by scents that come to us from our gardens and our flower beds, I encourage you to check out these blends. Now, the last two products I'm going to talk about today come to us from our core collection. The first is a roll-on called Allergy Release. And for our friends in the United States, you'll know this line of products as Inhale. So this is a very well-loved part of our collection. Many, many members of our community have found relief from allergy symptoms for many, many years based on using the products in this line. So within this formula, you have essential oils like lavender, you have lemon, and you have peppermint. But the two ingredients I'm going to talk about today are geranium and Roman chamomile. So you heard me mention geranium as part of these diffuser blends. When you think about geranium and its properties in how it impacts the body, it's a well-known hormone balancer. And a really simple way to understand that is anything that's moved out of center in the body. So think about things like experiencing a headache, a stomach ache, low energy, lethargy. These are all symptoms of a hormonal imbalance. Again, something that has moved away from our center or out of homeostasis. So of course, allergies, I always think about like an attack on the system. You've got itchy, watery eyes, you have congestion in the sinuses and nose, you're sneezing, you're coughing. Even saying all these things just gives me the heebie-jeebies thinking about how tough some of the symptoms of allergies can be. So these products are fantastic in helping, again, to alleviate and ease those symptoms and allow you to go through your day. So that's geranium. Roman chamomile is actually the most interesting oil in the formula. Over the last 5+ years, I've had so many questions from our community members about why we would include an essential oil to which a number of people actually have a sensitivity or an allergy. And there's a couple of key pieces of information you can learn here about Roman chamomile. So number one, it's actually the protein in the plant that contains the allergen. So when we're distilling essential oils, the protein is removed entirely. So in the finished product, in essential oil, it's absent of that protein that causes any type of allergen or sensitivity. The second piece is, I think the saying goes like this: the hair of the dog that bit you. And I know it's referring to something else, but in context to essential oils and aromatherapy, it's the idea that you're introducing a minute amount of something to which you may have a sensitivity to actually stimulate and build your immune response. So when your body is sort of building resilience to something through which it may experience some of these symptoms we talked about, a tiny amount of exposure can actually help, like I said, to sort of build on that immune response. Of course, if you find that you have a severe intolerance, allergen, or sensitivity to the plant or any types of chamomile, this might not be the product for you, and I would advise you to speak with a trusted healthcare practitioner. But that's just something I wanted to share about the oil. So you have so many options in terms of how to apply it, where to apply it. I say to lean into your intuition. So think about where in the body you experience allergy symptoms and apply directly. So if it's the sinuses, you're going above the eyebrow, under the cheekbone, alongside the nose is a really common area. I love that little roll onto the finger and then just under the nose here, the throat, the chest. Some people experience topical symptoms of allergies that come as hives or rashing. So if that occurs anywhere on the body or on the skin, I've heard actually it's really common in the hands. Again, you'd want to just be applying directly to where that impacts you. What I love the most, my personal favorite piece about the Allergy Release and Inhale line is the aroma. I find it very light. And I don't mean light in terms of you can't smell it. I mean, it has a lightness to it. Again, a freshness that I think about for springtime, but it's not going to sit sort of heavy on the skin, or it's not going to be really intrusive in terms of its scent, specifically if you want to apply it multiple times. So if you're finding you want to use the product throughout the day multiple times, it's not going to be something that's going to overwhelm you with fragrance. The other thing I want to mention is there is a complementary diffuser blend in the line, also called Allergy Release and Inhale. And for me, that's sort of the 1-2 punch. I love diffusing the Allergy Release because of how it smells in the air, that lightness and freshness I mentioned, but I also find it to just be incredibly cleansing. It's another one of my favorites. I sort of think about the weekend and doing my household chores, but cracking open my balcony door and the windows in this space, and then just allowing the breeze to move through, but knowing that I also have a little bit of protection for myself against those known allergens. So that's Allergy Release. And then the final product we're talking about today, I don't even know who I would be if I wasn't talking about Rose. So Rose Mist is one of our most well-loved products, a little bit early in the season for roses. We're not going to see roses in full bloom until closer to June, but Rose is the queen of flowers for many, many reasons, my friends. Rose is supportive. It is emotionally healing. Rose is nurturing. In terms of its physical impact on the body, it's great for hydration. So as some of us are sort of shedding our winter skin and coming out of that season of dryness, Rose can have a great impact on helping to rehydrate. So you can quite literally use it from your head to your toes. You can think about it as refreshing for your hair. My personal favorite way to use it is in my skincare routine as a facial toner. I also love it just as a mist for the body, so an entire spray to just give you a refresh. You can even use this in terms of a linen and fabric refresher spray. So if you want to spray over your pillows, your sheets, your bedding at night, just anything in which you're looking to create an environment that feels good for you. Rose smells amazing. It's sweet, it's fresh, it's floral. It just has that ability to connect to us again deeply internally while having external benefit as well. So when you want to use it, you just give it a good shake. That's in combination of your oil and your water. And then when I'm using on the face, I just close my eyes and my mouth. I mist sort of 3 to 6 times depending on how I'm feeling, and then just taking that secondary benefit by breathing in. So it looks just like this. And then as the mist falls, taking those deep breaths. If I'm using it specifically in skincare, I am a little bit closer to the face. And again, just ensuring to close the eyes and the mouth, and then just loving that sort of linger of the sweet, rich rose. So that's going to bring us to the end of our products that we've talked about today. As always, Fanny has done an excellent job of linking the products for you directly over in the comments section. So if there's anything you want to learn more about or you want to take a peek at it on our website, just head over to those links. And of course, you know my favorite thing to do is to answer your questions, your comments, or your feedback. Have a little dialogue in the chat about anything you're curious about. So please feel free to hop over there. And then the last thing I want to share with you today is just what's up and coming. So 2 Fridays from today, which I believe is Friday, April 30th, we're hosting a special session for Mother's Day. So we're going to introduce some really great gifting options and ideas as we move into the season of celebrating our moms and our mother figures. So you're going to want to check that out. Thank you for your time today. It is my sincere hope that everyone has an opportunity to get outside this weekend. Whatever the weather you're experiencing, take some deep breaths, feel that freshness of spring. I hope for you that there are little blossoms and blooms sort of popping up in your neighborhood. It's very good for the soul. Have a great weekend, everyone. We'll see you back here soon. Take care.